Walk away from the party of government dependence. This is Lyndon Baines Johnson in his war on poverty has spent about $2 trillion, and it is designed to do one thing: make blacks and minorities and whites dependent on the government. And we see this now. There's been so many decade after decade after decade where if you made an effort to reform welfare, you were called racist, you hated children. And it's only been recently now that some Democrats now claim, well, we're really for reforming welfare, but they're really not. It's kind of like Mike Beebe with the food tax. For efforts, for several years now, there was an effort to reduce the food tax, which is also a way that hurts the poor. And the effort was to eliminate the food tax. It was done by Arkansas libertarians years ago. And then, sadly, a lot of Republicans didn't get behind the effort. But when the political pressure became so much that the food tax looked like it was going to be eliminated, Mike Beebe came in and said, okay, I'm going to get rid of the food tax, but only he only got rid of part of it. And then he would get part of it a couple of years later, and so on and so on and so forth. And so it's a cowardly way to kind of diminish a real conservative effort, similar to what was done with Campus Carry here. And that was done by another party. But see, here's the thing. Right now it's not the time to fix one party. Right now it's the time to walk away from the party that is definitely against you and worst of all, pretends to care about you. They care less about you than I do about baseball, and I don't care about baseball. I just happen to watch the World Series at random. I don't know who's winning. I couldn't name a player. I don't even know all the positions. I don't care, but I'm not going to pretend to. Did I mention the Native Americans? I think I briefly mentioned them. If you're Native American and you care about and you're angered about what happened with what the federal government did to Native Americans, walk away from the Democrat Party. There's a number of Native Americans here in Arkansas. I actually am part Cherokee. I think I am more Cherokee than Elizabeth Warren, but I can guarantee you I did not get a job at Harvard using my Cherokee heritage. So you need to walk away from the Democrat Party. Most of my tan here is because I'm actually half Hispanic. My mom came from Nicaragua, and so I'm actually also part mestizo. So I'm actually kind of part Native American mixed. So I'm most likely more Native American than Elizabeth Warren, but again, it doesn't matter. Walk away from the party of Andrew Jackson, who was the founder of the Democrat Party, the party that put people on the reservations, and the party that is still putting that same welfare state, which is also harming the reservations. I've seen them. And the party that seems to look the other way a lot with the crime and massive corruption involving the casinos. And by the way, there's an effort to put casinos here in Arkansas. It's a scam. Vote against it. There is no such thing as an honest casino. Every one of these damn things is crooked. Every one of these damn things produces, massive amounts of drugs, prostitution, gambling, things that harm people. It is not a victimless crime. There's no such thing as a victimless crime in the long run. Almost all these people that take these lifestyles end up dependent as wards of the state, either by committing crime committing crime to support their habits, or they could make themselves bankrupt and they have to go collect food stamps. Or they make little illegitimate children, or they neglect other things in some way that causes harm to other people. That's just what happens. You can sit there on paper, it looks like a quote-unquote victimless crime, but in reality it's not. Walk away from the party of immorality and just decadence. And on that note, if you're a part of the Me Too movement and you actually care about but you actually do care about women and what happens to them, you need to walk away from this party. Here in Arkansas, we just had an incident fairly recently. Greg Letting, that same Mr. Red Flag Law himself, verbally assaulted Don Clements, his Republican opponent for Arkansas Senate District 4, up there in the Fayetteville area. Verbally assaulted her. Didn't just do it, but the context is, and I'll show a picture of this, and then I have a little meme that kind of shows the actual picture of this. But she's standing on the stage, he's sitting down there, and this kind of tall, good-sized fella starts yelling at her, then hops up onto the stage, gets in her face, starts throwing F-bombs, and puts her hand on her shoulder. And she has the text of what was said, complete with little F-bombs there, and you can see some of the body language. There's multiple angles of this video. But that's just kind of a recent example of the Democrats supposedly, the supposed Me Too movement. Of course, the original Me Too movement was basically a bunch of Hollywood enablers who had taken young girls to be raped by Harvey Weinstein and other directors who decided to, in order to cover themselves, suddenly pretended to care about sexual assault in the Hollywood industry. And of course, this is the party of Bill Clinton, Ted Kennedy, Keith Ellison, who beats up his wife, and so many other abusers of women. And of course, this is the party that also wants women to be disarmed when they're being attacked by rapists or killers. This is the party that wants to allow the illegal alien caravan, which the next Molly Tibbetts murderer is going to be, the next someone who decides to shoot the next Kate Steinle is going to be coming from, most likely. And this is the party that keeps the immigration system where a lot of illegals enter in through the visa program, deliberately sabotage, forcing them to have to contact congressmen or have family members contact congressmen, and thus they become politically connected. And of course, they're often registered as Democrat. Yes, a lot of illegal immigration comes to the visa program, so not just from the border, but Democrats in either way sabotage. And on that note, if you are sick and tired of illegal immigration and the crimes committed by it, you definitely need to walk away from the Democrat Party. Obviously, the other party, there's a lot of issues regarding that. And if you've seen any of my footage, you know that I fought against in-state tuition for illegals. It was supported by a Republican governor, but at that time, it was a Democrat legislature. And that same Democrat legislature, Joyce Elliott, has been trying to push for in-state tuition for illegals in this state for years now. My efforts in defeating that, along with the efforts of many other activists, have prevented a lot of illegals from entering the state. Still, however, I do believe there are a lot of school bureaucrats that are allowing illegals to come in by looking the other way in regards to the tax ID number versus social security number. I know that years ago, I think 19 of them were caught at Fayetteville, and miraculously they were able to pay the difference up when they were caught. Yeah, there's illegal immigration here in the state still. Tyson Foods is a large sponsor of it. It's one of the companies that, quote unquote, needs illegals, despite spending millions of dollars on politics, on donating to both parties. But anyway, walk away, walk away, walk away.